Odds are, if you watch PokeTubers in the last year or so, you've probably seen can you beat insert game here only using insert Pokemon here. These solo runs have blown up like crazy in the last year. I should know, I've done a few. To varying degrees of success. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today, I want to figure out which Pokemon can actually solo run their games. If you're not aware, in most cases with these solo runs, you usually have to have an HM slave because there's a good chance that the Pokemon that you're using can't learn all the HMs, unfortunately. So it get me thinking, what Pokemon can learn every single HM required to beat their respective games? Well, today, that's what we're going to find out. Now, here are the rules I'm going to be following for this little experiment video, whatever you want to call it. I can only use one Pokemon. Just one. If I have to go out and catch or obtain somehow another Pokemon, the challenge has failed. One Pokemon. That's all. Now, obviously, evolutions are an entirely different thing. There's a good chance your Pokemon can evolve to learn the required HMs, but if you actually have to go your way to catch one, that's no good. So today, I have compiled a list of every single Pokemon that can solo their respective generations. We're going to assume, obviously, that you can start with whatever Pokemon you wanted. Before we begin, though, I should quickly mention I'm only going to be covering the main games. I am not going to be covering post-game stuff because that is an entirely different story for most of these cases. I'm only going to be covering up from when you leave your house to when you beat the champion. The only exception I'll make to that rule is the Generation 2 and the remakes because most people seem to agree that you only truly beat that game when you beat Red and not the champion Lance. So yeah, so let's start off with Generation 1 with Red, Blue, and Yellow. To beat Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, you need to learn Cut, Strength, and Surf. Now, out of the 151 Pokemon there are in this region, there's only 4 that can learn the required HMs needed to completely solo run the game. Those 4 being Krabby, Kingler, Lickitung, and Mew. Mew I'm not surprised about. Mew can learn every single TM and HM, so it's obvious that it can solo run every single game. Krabby again I'm not too surprised about.
By the way, I solo run Pokemon Blue with Krabby. Just a Krabby. It's really cool. You should go check it out.
I'd be shocked actually if it didn't know Cut. The surprise for me was Lickitung. Up until I did research for this video, I didn't even know it can learn Surf. You learn something new every day, I suppose. Now let's head across the pond to Johto and figure out which Pokemon can solo run that game. To beat Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you need to know Cut, Surf, Strength, and 2 new moves, Whirlpool, if you're only playing Silver, and Waterfall. Now, there is 100 new Pokemon that we can use and abuse in this generation. But, even with all that, there's just one Pokemon that is able to solo run that game. And nope, no prizes for guessing who it is. It's Mew. Just Mew. While Feraligatr and Suicune both come close, knowing 4 of the 5 required HMs for each situation, close doesn't cut it. For some reason, Feraligatr does not learn Waterfall. I really don't know why. I mean, he ends up learning it later, spoilers. But in this generation, he is Waterfall-less. And Suicune can't learn Strength. Kinda surprised about that one too, actually. And it never is able to learn Strength, so it's not a move it gets later. So, close doesn't cut it, so only Mew. Now it's time for the Water generation with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. The HMs required to beat that game are Surf, Strength, Rock Smash, Dive, and Waterfall. Of course it mostly be water type moves. The amount of Pokemon that can actually beat this game is 0. I should probably explain, shouldn't I? While yes, there are Pokemon out there that can learn the required HMs to beat the game, like Mudkip and our old pal Mew, you still can't solo run the game. Why? Because of these trouble twins right here, Tate and Liza. You see, Generation 3 introduced a new battle mechanic, double battles, and of course, when Pokemon introduces something, they're gonna make us use it somehow. And unfortunately, it just happens to be at a very crucial moment. Tate and Liza will absolutely refuse to battle you unless you have 2 Pokemon in your party. And that kind of goes against the rules I had set for this video. Since you have to go out and catch another Pokemon, the rule is nullified. And every single video where someone tries to solo run their way through Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, they usually go out, catch a Magikarp, and have it be knocked down like the first 5 seconds. Not a true solo run in my eyes. Sorry. Don't hate me. Now it's on to the Kanto remakes with Fire Red and Leaf Green. And once again, the required HMs you need are Surf, Strength, and Cut. And along with our 4 old friends, Krabby, Kingler, Lickitung, and Mew, we have a whole herd of new Pokemon that can solo run this game. Those being, you take my notes here, Nidoking, Croconaw, Feraligatr, Tyranitar, Lanoon, Aggron, Corphish, and Crawdont. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Nidoking made it on the list. Nidoking couldn't learn Surf in Generation 1, but in Generation 3, the admins at Game Freak decided to bestow upon it Surf, so now it can solo run the game. Hey, you know, I also be surprised by Aggron and Tyranitar's introduction here, but I kinda knew from the get-go they can learn Surf. Alright, now it's time to go into the Sinnoh region with Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Now I'm gonna bring up my notes here because there's actually a long list of HMs you need to beat the game. Those being Cut, Surf, Strength, Rock Smash, Waterfall, and the newly added Rock Climb. And the following Pokemon can solo run this game. None of them. Yep. For the 2nd generation in a row, the main series games cannot be solo run by one Pokemon. I'll explain. You see, things actually go pretty smooth up until you get to Victory Road. Once you get to Victory Road, you need 5 HMs to get past it. Yep, 5 of them. And it's not like you can go back to the move deleter, delete the move you don't need anymore, then go back to Victory Road and finish off the rest, because once you leave that area, everything resets for some reason. It's Poke logic, I don't know. But in order to get through Victory Road, you need every single HM I listed except for Cut. But yeah, once again, you cannot truly solo run this Pokemon game, because you'll need a 2nd Pokemon to know that 5th HM. But once again, there are a few Pokemon that can learn every single HM required, like Empoleon and, unsurprisingly, Mew. Sorry, Sinnohers. And now we go into the Johto remakes with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The HMs required for this one is the exact same as their Gen 2 counterparts, with the exception of Rock Climb to get to Red. In total, there are 4 Pokemon that can solo run this game, those being Mew, Feraligatr, Empoleon, and Arceus. While the Totodile line cannot solo run the original games, they can now officially solo run this one because now Feraligatr can learn Waterfall. Good for you, buddy. Now let's move on to the Unova region with Black and White. In this one, you only need to learn 1 HM. Just 1. And, as a bonus, you only need to use that HM once. 1 HM, 1 time. That's all you need to do to get past Black and White. So, that being said, you still can't truly solo run this game. You have questions, don't you? Because you're thinking, what stopped me this time? I only need 1 HM. There's no double battles required to beat the game. But there is a catch you absolutely have to make at the very end of the game. Before you battle N, you will be required to either catch Zekrom or Reshiram. And yes, I said the word catch. You have to catch it. No ifs, ands, or buts, but I'm doing a solo run. Doesn't matter. You have to catch it. If you knock it out or try to run away, and we'll say, what are you doing? Just catch it. Catch it so your legendary can fight my legendary. And while there's probably like a whole list of Pokemon that can technically, theoretically, should be able to solo run the game, you can't because of that one reason. It sucks, doesn't it? And it's the second last battle you need to complete the main game. And you have to catch a Pokemon, thus defeating the purpose of a solo run. Yeah, of course, if you have a team of 6 Pokemon, you don't necessarily need to add Zekrom or Reshiram to your team. But if you have one, it's going on your team whether you want to or not. I mean, I guess it'd be one thing if you can just catch it and then deposit it right away. But no, once you catch it, you go right into your battle of N. Well, that sucks for Black and White, but what about Black and White 2? Can you still run those games? Well, the HMs you need for those ones are Surf and Strength. And that's it. And there's no catches you absolutely have to make before you need to battle. You don't need to use more than 2 HMs at a time. So yeah, you can solo run these games with a lot of Pokemon, if I'm being honest. Too long for me to list. So instead, I made a list for you. Feel free to pause if you need to. You good? Good. So yeah, these guys can solo run the game. Next up is X and Y. And once again, the only HMs you need are Surf and Strength. Now this is a bit of a gray area here because technically you get 2 starters in this game. 2 whole starters. So theoretically speaking, you're always going to own 2 Pokemon by the end of the game. But what separates this situation from our previous situation in Black and White is that you don't actually have to use the second starter you get. You can just grab it and box it. Never to be seen again. So if you do that, theoretically, once again, too long for me to list, you can beat them with these guys. All of these guys. You need to pause again? Go for it. Let's go on to the Generation 3 remakes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. The HMs needed to beat the game are the exact same as last time. And once again, unfortunately, you cannot truly solo run these games because of Tate and Liza. But I'm going to end this video with some good news for you. From Generation 7 and onwards, there is no longer a need for HMs. They completely gutted that dumb idea. So now, theoretically, you can solo run a game with whatever Pokemon you want. Or at least what's available to you right now in Generation 8. But you can do it with all of them in Generation 7. So there's that. Anyway, me to the end of this video, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've made it this far, you know what to do. And with that being said, I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.